Hello, everyone. And it's me, Benno here, with Rich Fann. Talk coming from the future, the past. I think it's the future.
Yeah,
Rich here as we record and scramble for this new intro for Spotlight. There's no big issue, mate. We're just about to say all right. Everyone's about to hear us be right for 90 minutes about WWE in succession. So it's a victory lap. I think we're going to take it. What is
yeah. Nice
going
pat
on?
on the back. Siobhan did what they had to do. And Tom decided, hey, I'm gonna stay back here. I like my office. It smells nice.
Oh, oh. Oh, it's amazing. Like the reason it's me and Rich here is JP's gone to bed. We just finished podcasters case, Rich. Just finished doing spotlight. We were wrapped up. We were patting ourselves on the back going, oh, we got that in good time. We were done in about by 11 p.m. UK time. 25 minutes later, Stephanie McMahon steps in, and I would like to say, Rich, I wouldn't like to say, but I will say it feels like she's ruined the hour of conversation we had where we compared WWE's current woes to Succession. But I don't know. I don't think there's anything more Succession than a twist like this. I think if anything, like I say, she's just proved you right, Rich. It's Shiv Roy, the whole story.
Yeah, this is Shiv. I think we just got a preview for the upcoming season of Succession. Shiv resigns from the company. She's tired of the BS. She thought she was going to be CEO. Her dad's back in place. Sale's supposed to have it's beat for beat. I feel bad because HBO should sue. This is gimmick infringement.
Oh,
I am. I On one hand, I mentioned, you'll hear this in the past/future, but I mentioned Triple H, Paul Levesque being kind of careful about how he says things, and it's clear, as you mentioned, when those doors are closed, they're on the same page, and
yeah.
it makes sense because the one thing I wanted to look for in her announcement was there's no divestment of stock. She's just
No.
resigning as CEO. So if they do follow through on her dad's master plan and sell it, she's going to make profit. But if they don't, she can just back away and take no responsibility for the chaos that's about to ensue.
It's a psychologist's dream because even in resigning, her statement that she's put on Twitter, then now forever together. So borrowing a phrase from Dad, she's trying to put it in the best possible light. I took a leave of absence for a few weeks, I came back, now that job's done, and our founder Vince is back. So when now we're in such a strong position, I can step aside. I just say the maneuverings here, like I would love to just like I say, when people hear the full podcast, I would love to hear not in a weird way, some kind of audio tape from those conversations there in Triple H have, because that can't be the whole story. There is absolutely more to this. I wonder, did she jump? Was she pushed? The other thing that's come out, WWE have put on their corporate site already that WWE's board of directors have unanimously elected Vince McMahon executive chairman of the board. The statements in there from Vince himself, thanking Stephanie for how proud he is of her great work so far, mentioning that Nick Khan's going to be the sole CEO going forward. Quick quote from Stephanie, bit of a quote from Nick Khan, where he's very thankful for Vince McMahon's support. I mean, you probably wouldn't expect it, but of course, no quote from Triple H there. There's extreme executive spin going on here.
And it's going to be really wild in these next few weeks and months as these resignations continue, as these revelations continue, because as someone mentioned, and we didn't get a chance to talk about it during the podcast proper, but one of the listeners had mentioned, one of the Patreons had mentioned the email that came out after Christmas to respond to events mentioned several not yet public things that they were aware of that the public wasn't. So this is when that starts. And Stephanie, again, same thing as Shiv. Do you want to be the female CEO that's at the helm of this misogynistic melting pot of failure that Vince has going on in terms of cover-ups, DNA? I'm sorry, not DNAs, non-disclosure agreements, NDAs, and just absolute, just crap, male chauvinist pig. We talk about other shows, Mad Men, this bygone era of I'm a white dude that's a CEO and I'll get away with whatever the crap I want because that's always been the deal. And Cat, We got cat.
Yeah,
I
the
just
cat's jumping in.
I'm
She's got hot
so
takes.
blind. Like Stephanie, of all people, Stephanie is just fed up. I mean, before she could at least cite Triple H's health issues. She's just like, I'm out.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like she must know the way this is going to read. They don't care. Like I say, if this is, lesser resignation and more Vince pushing her out, it just goes to, what we spent an hour talking about. Vince doesn't care as long as he gets his own way. He doesn't care about, the aesthetics of this. He's back in charge. That's all that matters. Like, it feels like it's only a matter of time before the rest of the dominoes start falling. Like, how long can Triple H really stay in place if Stephanie, like you say, of all people, is the one to walk out? How long? I mean, that Nick Khan statement, which is, he's saying all the right things in the corporate statement about how thankful he is to have Vince's support and how much he's looking forward to in future working closely with them to give more success to WWE. I think in a couple of weeks we're going to be laughing at that statement when Nick Khan is the next domino to go. Have you got bets in this house of cards / succession? What happens next, Rich? Like, what could happen next?
I honestly think it'll be every executive except for Khan. The only reason I say that is because Khan is one of the super agents formerly of CAA and in television and movies. And so it's going to take a lot short of like a dead body falling into his office for him to get out of the gravy train and not have the ability to do a magnum opus of either a sale and a deal at the same time, or one and then the other. And for him, he has the golden parachute. If he leaves this, it's unscathed. And as I said, when he first got hired, he could just say this was pro wrestling and everyone else will just nod approvingly and he'll move back into wherever he wants to go. I think for McMahon, this is, I mean, Levesque's probably going to be the next one, or another member of the investigation side of things. I think Levesque's going to be a little bit tricky because you're also dealing with bragging about how well television's going to be. And he's the only one that's kind of keeping things together. And your toadies, you can't really put them in front because the product's going to go right back down the crapper. As we mentioned, some of those aforementioned things in terms of who's on TV, who's being spotlighted, who's getting those opportunities. The wrestling we see. I mean, we've gone from I mentioned the 24/7 title, but we've gone from just a variety show to probably somewhere around in a 3-hour Raw, we're getting about 50 minutes of wrestling. And then on a SmackDown, we're getting about 35 with solid character development. Like, is he going to fire the ombudsman that's keeping track of all the storylines that Triple H hired? Is he going to just say, nah, we don't need, I got it all up here.
Don't need that logic.
And that's nightmare scenario. That's the nightmare scenario for me.
We don't need this script written any more than 5 minutes before the show starts. We don't need any of that. We need to go back to the way I
we brought this Fiend crap back. Like, just go out there and be the Fiend. Like, I don't need this Uncle Howdy.
Who's this Johnny Gargano? But like we say, very convenient. He has an injury right now. We'll see if that turns out to be there's anything more to that. I'm sure there's not, but it's wild, Rich. Like, how have 2022 was the year that kept on giving as far as big stories go. Like, I've seen a couple of people say we are 11 days into 2023 and we're having Stephanie McMahon resign from WWE story. It's just, I think we're in for another one of those years.
Yeah, story of honestly the biggest story of 22 and one of the biggest stories in professional wrestling ever has carried into the next year and has only gotten crazier. And so as we go through 2023, you got television deals, you got a potential sale, you got intrigue in terms of how many people are really going along to get along and how many people really have reached the line in the sand as far as like how much crap they can take from this company. And then we haven't even gotten yet to the employees, the workers who might start to say, you know what, if this is it, I'm not, would this be the action? Not necessarily becoming a union, but
to that point, John Albert's saying now on Twitter, apparently several wrestlers in the last 10 minutes have expressed dismay at the Stephanie McMahon resignation. To your point, that's already happening.
Yeah, and that's only going to lead to more issues because if you kill the morale, that was the thing they had going for them. You have the competition with AEW. Tony's enjoying himself, but he only has so much money. He can't hire them all. And so we do need an ecosystem where there are in North America 2 solid companies, hopefully 3 if Impact ever got its head out of its rear end. But because of that, now it's just going to be this big old chaotic morass because what if he does sell it? Does that come with the IP of the wrestlers, the contracts of the wrestlers? Are some folks going to get, to keep the books clean? Are you going to be getting rid of folks there? If you hire the wrong person, are they going to start to decide, well, we can work this cheaper, quicker, faster, and we don't need all the production people? This can go myriad ways.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. It's like Stephanie could turn up in AEW, probably not, but Shane's probably more likely for that, and that'd probably be to work a match. No, and Tony Khan. You put him in the Jeff Jarrett position, but like, yeah, I think the biggest thing I'll probably say, I mean, does this change your perspective on what Vince McMahon's motivations were? Over the last week or so, we in the extended podcast, people will hear the GRAPPL Spotlight where your podcast is sold. If you're watching this on YouTube, like I still think we're right in that. We've been suspicious of Vince's motivations. Is he really coming back for a sale, or is he just coming back to consolidate power? Like I say to you, like over the last weekend or so, I've started to maybe soften on that stance, but I don't know. Is this more of a stance that it's just Vince consolidating power, and a sale isn't really a thing he actually wants at the end of all of this?
Yeah, I'm with you. And I know Wade mentioned when we chatted last week, from what he'd been talking to folks, even the holidays with them in terms of as a family sitting around were very tense because this was the background. And so I could only imagine, Happy New Year, Pop, and Stephanie in the back of her mind's like, I'm out. I can't do this anymore. I can do literally anything else. And, Shane, I'm sure, is in the wings. I could be CEO. He's like, don't worry about it, Shane. We're good here. Because he really is he's the closest we can get of all my Roys to my man, Jeremy Strong, in terms of just like,
he feels would a little have Connor as well, just a little bit.
Yeah. He's like both of them. He's like a baby between the two of them because he'll say some weird stuff, but then I can imagine him having a Christ-themed birthday party where he's like, or doing good tweet, bad tweet, which is my worst nightmare. Like good tweet, bad tweet, like in the back of a limo somewhere.
Yeah, they're giving Shane like random jobs, like they do Connor. Oh, go run Royco Europe. Oh, you can, go China. That's where you belong, Shane. Go work there. You'll be fine. Just stay out the way. Yeah, he'll come back. The presidency run of Shane McMahon coming in 2023.
I want the whole twist to be that the Mazola cooking oil empire buys WWE. And so right when you thought it was safe, Shane's like, I own you now, Dad. And we get the WCW, WWE last episode done in real life.
Oh, amazing. Well, if you want more where that came from as far as Succession comparisons with WWE, and if you're listening to the audio version, continue listening as past Rich, Benno, and JP go through all our conspiracy theories, which mostly turn out right. Or if you're watching the video, go search for the GRAPPL Spotlight podcast and listen to it there. But yeah, crazy night, Rich. Any closing thoughts on this latest McMahon family drama? Hopefully, I'm not calling you in 8 hours and going, Nick's gone as well. We need to do another 10 minutes here.
I mean, at this point, who knows? We might be dealing with Vince might be gone. Like after all this, like let's say health took over, because he wants to die in the chair. And so, is it worth it? Like this is a big King Lear moment for him. Is it worth it to tear your family apart and tear your company down to the studs just to say you were the guy that did it?
Yeah, that's the if he's worried about like how he looks in the history books over this last couple of years, he's turned on his daughter, he's turned on his son-in-law, he's turned on his son. Like, yeah, don't get in the way of Vince McMahon and his money and his company. That's all that matters to him. But yeah, Rich, thank you again for joining me again. And like I say, folks, over to the main podcast. Enjoy. We were still right, Rich. That's all that matters. Podcast is
it really is.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.